Anna stood by the window of her small apartment in Toronto. Outside, the snow fell relentlessly, covering everything with a white blanket that Anna had never seen in her native Ecuador. She took a deep breath, trying to calm the mix of emotions coursing through her. It had only been 2 months since she moved to Canada, but it felt like an eternity. The dream of a better life, which had always motivated her, now felt threatened by the language barrier and the loneliness that seemed to envelop her like the winter cold. Anna had a university degree in economics and many dreams, but upon arriving in Toronto, she found a world more complicated than she had imagined. Her fluent Spanish was of little use here, and her basic English made her falter in simple conversations. The job websites were filled with offers for which she was unqualified, either because her credentials weren't recognized or because of fierce competition for each position. Yet Anna did not let herself be defeated. She decided to take on 2 temporary jobs, one as an assistant in a small cafe in the mornings and another cleaning offices at night. In between, she enrolled in intensive English classes at a community school. The days were long and the hours of sleep were short. Each morning, when the alarm rang before dawn, Anna had to remind herself why she was doing this. While cleaning an empty office or hurriedly serving a coffee, she would tell herself, "It's temporary. I'm building something bigger." The English classes were her refuge, a place where she could listen to others who, like her, struggled to adapt to a new country. Gradually, her skills improved. She learned to write her resume in English, to answer interview questions, and most importantly, to not fear making mistakes. Thousands of miles away, another brave soul was facing his own battles. Carlos, a Brazilian engineer, sat in front of a mountain of papers in his new apartment in Berlin. He had imagined his move to Germany as a key step for his career, but so far, everything seemed to revolve around filling out forms and deciphering a daunting bureaucratic system. Not to mention German, a language so different from Portuguese that it seemed like an insurmountable barrier. Carlos enrolled in an intensive German course, but learning a language doesn't happen overnight. Each word he studied brought him closer to his goal, but also reminded him how far he was from the level he needed. Meanwhile, he sent his resume to dozens of employers, only to receive rejections, or worse yet, no response at all. There were days when he felt defeated, doubting the decision that had brought him there. But Carlos had something that couldn't be taught: perseverance. After months of searching, he finally secured an interview. It was for a position at a medium-sized engineering firm, not as prestigious as he had initially hoped, but it was his chance to prove his worth. Although German still tripped him up, Carlos arrived at the interview prepared, with clear responses and a confident attitude. He leaned on his experience, used the little German he knew, and when in doubt, switched to English to ensure his message was clear. Against all odds, he was offered the job. For Anna, her moment of triumph came one morning when she opened her email and saw a message that made her scream with joy. It was an invitation for an interview at a data analytics company. Thanks to the English classes and her teacher's support, Anna had managed to send an impeccable application. The interview wasn't perfect. She stuttered on a couple of answers and struggled to find a word at a crucial moment. But what she thought was a failure turned out to be enough. 2 weeks later, she received an offer. It was an entry-level position, not exactly her dream, but it represented an opportunity to enter her field and grow. Today, both Anna and Carlos are writing new chapters in their lives. Anna no longer feels the initial loneliness. She has made friends in her English class and at work, and she spends her weekends exploring Toronto with renewed enthusiasm. Meanwhile, Carlos has adapted to life in Berlin, learning more of the language and understanding the German mindset. He has started to build a professional network that promises him a stable and promising future. Their stories are those of millions of immigrants around the world. Tales of challenges, learning, and resilience. They show us that the path to a better life is not always easy, but with persistence and a bit of support, dreams can transform into reality. And in the end, it is that struggle that makes success so meaningful.